the mind controls everything. And I could feel myself step back. My immediate response, of course, was no. But it's something to inquire about. Well, I guess my first thought was, well, what about love? And so maybe when we're babies, there is a very primal or innate intelligence in bonding with our parents, and that we learn, but is it all about our mind learning and our mind then responding? Or is it just a response to play or to engagement or to a blank face or an angry face or depression or yelling or joy, food, the smell of food, right? That what are we learning? Is that purely brain, or is that body? Is that innate kind of animal, the animal part of us? When I think about how we respond to food, how I respond to food, right? That I can eat things that I know I shouldn't eat or don't want to eat because I know that I'm going to stay up really late and I'm going to feel horrible the next day, but I eat it anyway. Is that mind? Part of it is. Or maybe it's a wiring, right? A wiring between our emotions, our hormones, our need for something sweet or connection or love, or equating food and love or food with family, right? That it's emotional. And is mind separate than emotion? So they say that the heart sends more neurotransmitters to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. And so in Western medicine, I think that we predominantly hear that the heart is a pump. But in other realms of research, the heart is resonance, electromagnetic. It has neurotransmitters. It has all the elements of intelligence that the brain has and more. So what is, and is anything in control? Or are we just this complexity of many different ways to see? So part of trauma work, and trauma, again, a lot of it is probably really set in early childhood trauma, obviously, when we're quite young. And even the idea that trauma is not the event, but how we respond to the event, to the divorce, to the fighting, to any violence that we see, to an accident or medical care, right? That we respond, how we respond. And it may be something that loops, but is it just our mind, or is that also our emotions? And the relationship of early childhood trauma to chronic infections is pretty clear in the research. And so the young parts of us that are still impacted by something that happened many, many years ago, that starts to show up as illness. So it's held in the immune system, it's held in the nervous system, it's held in the way the body responds to, right, this immune system of responding to challenge, adversity, pathogen. Just things to think about, right? That there are times, right, and we use this in trauma work, is that we try to work from the body up. So we can consider the brain an end organ, right? That our senses bring a lot of information in, and some of it gets to the brain, maybe not all. I think there are ways that the body manages responses or responds without the brain's full need to understand or emote. I know that the spinal cord has quite a bit of the neurons in the spinal cord. Actually, I don't know exactly. I know that there are as many neurons neural relationships in our GI tract, right, from our mouth down through our throat and stomach, small intestine, large intestine, out through our anus. That whole lining of the wall of our GI tract is highly innervated, as many neurons as the spinal cord. That's quite a bit. So the intelligence and the sensitivity in the gut, which is also why the gut, which also creates hormones and neurotransmitters, right, its own brain, right? So we have maybe many brains. We also have the fascial system, which is highly innervated, highly intelligent, highly responsive to our environment, to adversity, right? And there's different levels of fascial sensitivity, right? The tightness, is it just tightness or is it a response? So we are quite a complex character, and I always say that this is consciousness. It's not like the consciousness is just here. The consciousness is consciousness. There's different qualities of it. Maybe there's more physicality consciousness or emotional consciousness or cognitive consciousness. But there's also then our essence, our soul consciousness, if we want to say that, or collective, universal consciousness. These are different layers or qualities. Just something to think about. Something that we sometimes can reframe within us and let it inform us in how we then move out in the world. So if we are having an emotional challenge, is it current? Is it in this moment? Is it past? And is there something that helps differently than if it's present or past? Right? Is it the talking that helps? Or is it the walking outside? Or sound? Right? Maybe the sound of birds or the sound of a creek or sound meditation. Right? What is it that influences us? What do we respond to? Right? We are very organismic, intelligent, biological, chemical, neural, hormonal. How do we respond? How do you respond? What is the symphony in your body? What are the loudest parts? Right? Some of us are very mind directive. Some of us very emotionally directive. And what does it mean to be heart directive? What does that mean? Happy inquiry.